Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Today, I want to show you how I plan my week, my day, my life, everything. I am a mega planner. That means I want to plan out everything in advance. I actually would plan out my whole life if I was able to, but I'm not super efficient. So I'm constantly tweaking and trying new methods to make myself get better use out of my time and stay more organized, mostly up here. If you too struggle with staying on task throughout the week, then this video is for you. Thank you so much for watching today. This is Kristin. I blog at lifeofstones.com, where we share our personal financial journey to help you budget your best life. So, part of budgeting your best life isn't just budgeting your money, but also budgeting your time. And this is where I really fall short. I would work 36 hours a day if I could. I absolutely love what I do. I never get sick of it. But the thing is, I have to have a life, right? I have a husband, I have kids, I have responsibilities outside of my blog and this YouTube channel, and they are important to me. So I have to get better at budgeting my time, planning things out, sticking to the plan, and I've been testing out a couple different methods, so I want to share those with you today. So like a lot of people out there, I'm kind of planner obsessed. In fact, I think I had 3 different planners last year because I feel like at different times of the year, different planner layouts suit me better. Thankfully, they weren't pricey, and one of them I got as a gift, dog booty, dog booty. I feel like as my life changes and my schedule changes, like I said, sometimes certain planners just don't seem to work for me anymore the way I need them to work. So I've been trying out a couple different ideas and a couple different methods. It's probably a bit of overkill, and you are not going to need to use all of these methods at once like I do, but I am fairly certain I may have some form of attention issues, and I just have a really hard time staying on task. I'm so easily distracted, and I find since I've been kind of combining some of these methods, somehow it's been working. The very first thing I do is get a planner. This is the planner I purchased for 2019. It was only about $15. I got it at Target, of course, and it's been working pretty well for me. Now here's the thing. At the end of last year, I was using a normal planner, then I was using a secondary planner to use as a content calendar for my YouTube and my blog and my email newsletters, and it just was kind of annoying keeping everything separate. So I decided this year that I really wanted to find something that I was able to keep everything business and personal. So this year I really was on the hunt for something that I could kind of smush them both together, and I could track both my business and my personal life all in one planner. I know, everybody raves about the Erin Condrens and the Emily Lays and the Happy Planners, but I do not like those big coils in the center. I've tried a planner like that before. I don't like it. I don't like when my planners are this thick. I don't like the smaller sizes, but I don't like the giant sizes. I mean, in case you can't tell, I'm a little picky. So this one, there was definitely 1 or 2 things I wish it had and it didn't, but for 15 bucks, I can't really complain. So like I said, this planner, I keep my business and my personal in here. Any appointments I have, I keep my content calendars for my business, which is me trying to plan out my videos and blog posts ahead of time. I keep my family appointments in here, practices. This stays mostly upstairs at my desk because that's where I use it the most. When I work down here at the kitchen table, which is where I'm sitting right now, I usually bring it down with me so I have a good reference. I also keep daily to-do lists in this planner. I find that in the morning when I take a minute or 2 and review everything in this planner for the day, it just kind of refreshes my memory and gives me a good idea of what I need to accomplish for the day. What I do not keep in this planner is vacuuming, laundry, cleaning. I just feel like that gets this to be a little bit cluttered for each day, and I like to have plenty of open white space so that I can really get a good idea of what's going on for the day. The next thing I do is I keep this small, can you see this? Sorry, there's really a glare. This small little whiteboard It is magnetic, and I just keep this on the side of my fridge. And what I do on here is pretty much write any reminders that we need to keep for the week that I really need to jump out at me every time I walk past the fridge. Like if we have practices, or practice time or game has changed, or maybe we have a party coming up that week, the kids are off school for a day, anything like that, I just write on this little board and keep it on the fridge. And I have since pretty much cleaned off my entire fridge. I don't keep anything else on there for the most part except this and a calendar. So as things come up for the week ahead, I will usually just jot them on here if it's something that I think I need a little help remembering, because let's be honest, nobody else in this house remembers anything. I remember it all, and if I don't remember, we're screwed. The next thing I keep is this big calendar on my fridge, and this also goes on the side, actually right above the little whiteboard. But as you can tell on the calendar, it has pretty big spaces to write. It shows you the month ahead and the month behind. So then this is our main family calendar. I write all practices, all games, all birthdays, all school days off or early dismissals, any days that I work outside the home. I actually keep track of the days that my husband is off each week because his days off rotate. Anything else, church functions, parties, anything else that I need to keep track of for the entire year, I put on this calendar. That way we can flip ahead and see when dentist appointments are coming or doctor appointments are coming or anniversaries, and I can prepare accordingly. I also have my husband write any events on here that he has coming up. If he happens to have a training day or a meeting he's going to, anything extra that I need to know so that I can schedule our family accordingly. I also pull this calendar out and take a look when I sit down to do my meal plan, because it lets me know of any nights that we might not be home and I could have a night off from cooking dinner. And as if this wasn't enough, the next things I use to plan are a couple of different apps. I just use 3 apps, as if that's not enough. One is our plain old Apple calendar, iCalendar, whatever you want to call it. And this, I try to put any big things, birthdays, anniversaries in as well, and I share the calendar with my husband. So any events I add to certain calendars will also copy over to his calendar. So games, practices, I've actually been slacking on this and I really need to take a moment and sit down and do it. So what I do is at the end of the month, I take half an hour, I look through the calendar, and I will input everything into our electronic calendars. And to be honest, I don't refer back to it too often, and neither does my husband, but it's very nice to have on the go if we're out somewhere and we need to schedule an appointment, or somebody asks us if we're busy, because I don't carry my planner around and my husband has really no clue what our schedule is on any given day. I do like to input everything into that calendar, then we have it as a backup. The next app I use is called Google Tasks. This is a newer app and I absolutely love it. Now, I don't use this for my day-to-day to-do list. I feel like for day-to-day, I need something a little bit more tangible. I'm really old-fashioned, so I'm still a paper and pen type of girl, and that's my preferred method of making to-do lists. But I love Google Tasks because it lets me put some things on there to kind of keep an eye on the bigger picture. I have a running tally of things that I want to do for my blog. Maybe it's IT work I need to have done, or a launch I need to participate in, or a product I need to create. So I keep this blog to-do list on Google Tasks, and at any time, if I need to see where I'm at or what I should be working on, or get an idea of where I'm headed, I can pull that up and have a pretty clear picture. The other thing I do is I keep a personal list. This lets me know what appointments I might have to schedule some point in the future. Now, when it's time that I want to actually schedule that specific appointment, I will transfer it and write it down in my planner so I know it needs to be done now. But looking ahead in the near future, I'll keep it on Google Tasks. I also keep lists for my VA clients and work that I need to complete for them. I keep a list for other personal things that I want to get accomplished in general, and it's super helpful. So I can view it on my MacBook and also on my phone. So it's really always with me and very accessible. Open the app and it will put you right into one of your lists. You can add a new task, call it what you want, make sure you hit save, and then it's on your list.
You can keep many different lists in your app. And I just love how nice and clean and organized this app is. There's not a lot of fluff, there's not a lot of customization, but it's very simple to use.
The last app I love to use is just the plain old Reminders app on my iPhone 7. Now, I used to hate this app. I don't know if this app has maybe had a major update since it came out, but when this app first came out, I hated it. I thought it was useless. I found that it wasn't actually reminding me to do anything and instead was just annoying me throughout the day. But I have fallen in love with this app. As I get busier and busier, I just can't keep things straight in my head anymore. I used to be pretty good at it and have a good memory, but as I get busier and probably as I get older, I'm really struggling in this area of my life. So I set reminders for everything. Just like I set reminders on our Alexa downstairs all the time for my children to make sure they have their lunch packed, for us letting us know it's time to leave and go to the bus, reminders on what I need to pick up from the store. I do the same thing on my Reminders app, but this is just my personal reminders. So I remind myself when I need to back up my computer, and once a week it's going to give me a small alarm letting me know that it's time to back up my computer. I remind myself when I have my accountability call with my accountability partner each week. And I just set these up so that it gives me a reminder. So it pops up on my phone and my computer and just reminds me of something that I need to complete. You can also set different priorities on here, and you also have the option to mark it as complete or ask it to remind you at a later date or time, which is kind of like snooze on an alarm clock, and I find myself using that option all the time. But eventually the tasks get done after it reminds me enough.
So just go in the Reminders app on your phone and you can see I'm going to a new screen here because I had some in there already. See the plus sign right here? Just click next to it, start typing your reminder, and then you can go in the info and check out the date and time you would like it to remind you and set also a priority.
This video would contain a ton of different options. So the next thing that I use is actually this $3 notepad from the Dollar Spot at Target. And you can see this has morning, afternoon, and evening. And this is what I keep my little odds and ends day to day on. The reason I keep it on here is because I don't care what this looks like. It's simply a tear off pad that when you're done, I just rip it off and I throw it out. I keep this right next to my computer and I actually use my mouse on top of it. So it's always there, I always see it. And I kind of use this as almost like a brain dump feature. So anything I know I need to do for the day, even down to the smallest minutia, this is where I write down I have laundry to do, or I want to vacuum, or I need to make freezer sandwiches for my kids' lunch. I need to fill out a soccer form. All these tiny little things that I don't necessarily need to put in my planner. They're just things that I need to get out of my head and down on paper, or they will disappear because I will totally forget them. I have found that this has helped me so much because if I write all these teeny tiny little things in my planner, like I said, it's just too much. It's too much. I don't want to carry my planner around the house. If I'm going downstairs and I know I'm going to be downstairs for a couple hours, I grab this sheet, I throw it on the island, and I just cross things off when I finish them. It's also a good idea to very loosely plan my day, what I'm going to be focused on in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening. And it helps me just figure out my workflow a little bit better for the day ahead. When I'm done at night, I just rip it off, throw it out, and I can get started with the next day. The next way I help keep myself on task is the good old standby. I am a sticky note freak. I put sticky notes everywhere, all over the place to remind myself to do things. And I have actually found that I've been able to cut back significantly on my sticky note usage since I've started implementing all of these other ideas and apps, but I still use sticky notes a ton downstairs. I use them to remind my husband to do lots of things because he's very forgetful as well. I have my kids write down when they have tests or homework that's due on them, and I stick them on the island so nobody can say they forgot or didn't see them. I even sometimes use them to help me when I'm meal planning. I can stick these write in these little calendar squares and I can write meals on them. And if I have some extra time, I can almost move these around and group things that are together in certain weeks that I know I can maybe reuse ingredients for or use leftovers for another meal. Sticky notes are my favorite thing in the whole world. Now I know that's not really a new concept to anybody, but I'm telling you, if you are forgetful or you have mom brain like I do, grab yourself a giant pack of sticky notes. I like them in all shapes and sizes, and start putting them where you will see them. Because if you're putting them in places you're not going to see them, they're not going to help you remember anything, and that defeats the purpose. That is how I've been planning my days and weeks. It's kind of all over the place. I know that. I don't expect you to have use for all of these. My hope is that you can find one or maybe even two of these methods that will work for you and your schedule and the way your specific brain works, and it will help you become more efficient, more scheduled, be able to plan better, and really just use your time wisely. Because guys, time is the most precious thing that we have. It is our most important resource, and there is nothing I hate more in this world than wasting my time. And I don't want to see you waste your time either. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up. I thank you so much for watching, and I want to wish you a happy and productive day. Bye!